Hi everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen. Today's easy apple dessert is so perfect for fall. I'll be making my almond cranberry apple crisp, and this recipe takes apple crisp to a whole new level. You guys are going to love the addition of the almonds and the cranberries in the topping. We're going to start with a classic apple crisp filling. We're going to have some cinnamon apples on the inside, and then that oatmeal cranberry almond topping is so delicious. I love to enjoy this apple crisp with a little bit of vanilla ice cream, and you guys are going to love how easy this recipe is to make. It comes together in no time, and it's just so perfect for fall. Let me show you how to make it. And I'm going to start today's apple recipe with the apples. So today I am using 6 large Granny Smith apples. I'm going to get these peeled, chopped, and dressed for the filling. We're going to add some cinnamon and nutmeg and cloves. The filling is going to be so incredibly delicious. You guys are going to love it. Once I have my apples peeled, I'm going to grab a sharp knife and carefully chop the apples into medium-sized chunks. And transfer the chopped apples into a large mixing bowl. I have my apples all ready to go. Now it's time to season and dress them. So I'm going to add in a tablespoon of lemon juice, a 1/4 cup of white granulated sugar, and you can add more if you want a sweeter apple crisp, 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of ground cloves. I'm going to grate in a little bit of nutmeg, about 1/2 teaspoon. Next, add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. And that cornstarch is going to help thicken all the apple juices as the apples cook. I'm just going to grab a large spoon and toss this all together. You want the apples to be evenly coated with the cornstarch and the cinnamon and the sugar. And I'm going to transfer my apples into a large casserole dish. Spread the apples evenly to the edges. You want a nice even layer of apples. I have my apples all ready to go, and now it's time to make that amazing topping. We're gonna have oats and almonds and cranberries. It's gonna be the perfect topping for these apples. So into my mixing bowl, I'm going to add in 1/2 cup of unsalted butter, and I just took it out of the refrigerator, so you want it to be ice cold. To that, I'm going to add in 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour. And now I'm going to use my pastry blender to blend the butter and the flour together. You just want big crumbs of butter in the topping. And if you don't have a pastry blender, you can also use 2 large forks for this step, but you can already see that butter is just kind of being coated with the flour. You have these nice little pieces of the butter. This is going to be so perfect. Now you can use a food processor for this step, but I find that it makes the crumbs too fine and it's a slightly different texture. So a pastry blender really does work best for this. Next, into this mixture, I'm going to add in 3/4 cups of oats, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, 1/2 cup of diced almonds, and a 1/4 cup of chopped dried cranberries. I'm going to use a large spoon to mix this all together. You want a nice and uniform mixture. And I'm going to spoon this crumble topping over the apples. This is going to be so delicious. And my apple crisp is ready to hit the oven. I have mine preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's going to bake anywhere from 50 to 60 minutes, and the timing really depends on what type of casserole dish you're using. So if you have a deeper dish casserole, it's going to bake for a little bit longer. If it's more shallow, it's going to bake for a little bit less. You want the top to be a nice golden brown colors, and the apples should be really soft. We're gonna come back to enjoy this apple crisp while it's still warm with some vanilla ice cream. It tastes so good. I took my apple crumble out of the oven about 20 minutes ago. I let it cool down a little bit, and as it cools, the sauce is going to thicken even more. Those apples are going to be so, so delicious. I mean, the texture of this apple crisp is amazing. You have that incredible topping and then the juicy apples. You guys are going to love this recipe. And check out the texture of this apple crisp. It looks so, so incredible. The apples are just super, super soft, and then you have this crunchy topping. It's gonna be so delicious. We have one more thing to add, and that's our vanilla ice cream. I like to add a scoop right on top. And then I like to enjoy the crisp while it's warm so that ice cream just kind of melts. It's gonna be so delicious. And that is it, guys, my cranberry almond apple crisp. This will fill your whole kitchen with the most incredible aroma. It smells so, so fantastic. For the full recipe, don't forget to head on down the video description box. I'll have a link that'll take you over to my website where you can print this recipe off and share it with your family and friends. Now time to dig in and enjoy. This looks so good. I love that melted ice cream on the top. It's gonna be so fantastic with this crunchy topping. And then the apples are so soft, it's gonna be amazing. This is so good. I could eat this all day. So delicious. This apple crisp recipe is something else. It is so delicious, just phenomenal. The combination of textures and flavors, it all comes together so beautifully. The apples are super soft, and I love the cinnamon sugar seasoning on the apples. And then you have that topping. That topping is so good. It's so crunchy. You have bits of oats, of almonds, and the chewy tart cranberries. The real cherry on the top is the ice cream. This ice cream is a must. You have to have the ice cream with the apple crisp, and you gotta enjoy it while it's still warm. So I like to eat this about 15 to 20 minutes out of the oven, add a big scoop of vanilla ice cream, and you are all set to go for the best apple dessert ever. You guys are gonna love this recipe. And I also really like that it's super, super easy to make. If you're looking for an easy apple dessert to enjoy this fall, this is the recipe for you. I hope you guys enjoy this recipe at home as much as I do. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time with a new recipe.